Welcome to Ease with me, Namita Purohit. I'm a professional life coach. I base my practice on Eastern wisdom and Western psychology. Join Ease if you're looking to get coached or become a coach yourself. Today is World Mental Health Day, and my team inspired me that I should share some content with all of you on this day. And I was thinking about this, that in spite of so many investments, so much research, in spite of the proliferation of psychological treatment and the willingness on people's minds, that yes, I can get mental health help, we still find that more and more people are taking pharmaceutical drugs, and epidemics of depression, anxiety are occurring, not just in the affluent Western world, but also across, various developing countries as well. And are we missing something here about understanding ourselves? Why, in spite of so much research, why, in spite of all of this, are more and more people falling mentally sick? And why is it that, all of these different gateways to get help for mental health are not able to really, help people deal with their issues at the root and to truly overcome what they're facing and to become healed and whole, and to grow and glow? And can ancient Vedic teachings provide us a deeper insight? Can we find a way to integrate Vedic teachings with modern psychology also, so that people can get more and more holistic solutions and can really rise above all these different challenges? And in my life coaching practice, I get many clients who have done various rounds of psychotherapy, medications, psychiatrists, been totally frustrated, unable to find solutions. And in some cases, their symptoms have gotten worse. Their ability to perform, their ability to do things is is constantly reducing. Their self-confidence, their anxiety is increasing, etc. And I wonder why. Because modern psychology does have some good insights on, dealing with the mind, the tools, etc. They're good. But where are we failing, and why are we failing, and what's happening over here? And I'd like to share some case studies, some examples of some of my clients, of course, with their permission. They've been very kind. And here are some examples. I'll be sharing about 3 or 4 stories as we go ahead today together on this World Mental Health Day. Once I had a therapist come to me with severe anxiety, very severe anxiety. She had been on medication for many years. She had been going to therapists for many years. She is herself a licensed mental health counselor. But of course, when you're in difficulty, you need someone else outside of your issues to help you. So nothing to call out on that. But she was also losing her self-confidence, unable to figure her way out. She had dropped out of her, a very nice course that she was doing, a master's program that she was doing, because she was just unable to cope up with it because of her anxiety. She had, given up on her job, was not able to keep her job because the anxiety was getting too much for her. And she was getting more and more traumatized as she was not able to perform. And she was trying to get herself to do another master's to, or complete the previous master's, but she was just so scared. And that's when she came to me and she said, I've exhausted everything. And, you have these Eastern solutions and, with Western wisdom. So, really, I need your help. And as we worked through with her, we discovered that there was a lot of unhealed sexual abuse trauma. That was, and that sits as those thoughts and those energies and those experiences sit as in the mind, in the energy, and in the body. And healing needs to happen at all 3 levels. So we worked on her body through her diet, through exercise, through yoga, through breath work. We worked on her energy by helping her release those traumatic memories and thought patterns, that were sitting as energy in her body. And we worked on her mind to be able to start seeing all those experiences from an adult lens, from a lens of power, and helping her overcome and erase and rewrite some of her inner scripts. And that helped her heal in just 6 sessions. We did 6 sessions over 6 weeks, and that's how fast she healed. She was able to come off the medication in another 2 or 3 months. She was able to complete her master's and do her job and overcome her anxiety and have a much deeper and a better relationship with her own husband. Another story that comes to my mind is where, she was given really quick medication without even any kind of depth in understanding what her issues were. And by the way, these people have all gone to therapists first who have referred them to psychiatrists for medication. So I had this high-tech Amazon professional diagnosed with anxiety and borderline bipolar disorder. She was prescribed drugs. Her symptoms were she was clenching her teeth in the night. She was just feeling she would just be super active at work, and then she would be super depressed where she would be able to perform and do nothing. She would cry at the drop of a hat, and she was just uncomfortable and restless in her body all the time. And a lot of anxiety and a lot of pressure to perform as well. And being an Indian, she didn't want to start taking medicines. And I happened to be in Seattle at that time, and she reached out to me through a referral, came to me. And as we worked through her situation, we discovered that there was unhealed survivor's guilt in her from having lost her birth twin at birth. And somewhere she felt that because she survived, now she has to work doubly hard and achieve everything and be the best in everything because she got this chance at life and her twin did not. So we helped her work through that. We also helped her, the properly balancing her family constellation through proper rituals that need to be done for the departed souls, giving proper place to those family members, to her twin, giving proper meaning to her existence alone without her twin, the grief and the trauma that a new twin feels when they're separated from their twin, helping her heal with all of that and with proper rituals to get proper deliverance for that twin's soul, for 30 years was being struggling. And so that helped her a lot release and ease her anxiety. Another thing that we worked upon is that she lived in a predominantly white neighborhood, which means that she was not surrounded by a lot of Indians, so she did not have a lot of cultural connections with people, similar people of similar culture, etc. So we helped her connect back to her cultural roots, go meet more people in the Indian community, participate in more Indian events, go to the temples more often to meet more Indian people, and connect back to her roots. Because when you're displaced from your roots, that can also cause havoc in your mind and can cause a lot of anxiety because there is nothing for you to rest, anchor yourself in. And we helped her anchor herself in that. Having a routine was another major thing that we worked upon because both the couple, husband and wife, were very high achievers and working, and there was not much time to cook, not much time to eat. So probably just waking up and going to work, not having breakfast, and probably eating the first meal at around noon. That also getting it from the food cart and then coming back in the evening and trying to cook something or cooking something in the night, taking it in the morning, and just not having the right things at the right time. And we worked on developing some simple recipes, some simple one-pot recipes that could fit in her schedule so that she could have fresh meals every day, and making sure that she was having breakfast, making sure she was eating at the right times, and making sure she was getting more and more cooking done at home while fitting it all in her schedule, and also teaching her that cooking is a relaxing activity. And just by having a routine of eating at the same time, sleeping at the same time, exercising, relaxing, a lot of her energy, actually you could visibly see her aura changing, her facial expressions changing. She was much calmer, much more peaceful. And as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, yuktahara viharasya yukta chestasya karmashu yukta swapnava bodhasya yogo bhavati dukkhaha. So when someone is temperate, regulated in their habits of eating, sleeping, working, and recreation, they can mitigate all material pains, miseries, dukkha, by practicing the yoga system. And we're not even talking about some really advanced yoga system. All we're talking about is just being regulated in your habits, right? And then being at that high level that she was, she had seen the world. She had been to the best places in the world, all, the tourist spots that you would think about, lived in the fanciest hotels and done all the activities in all those different places. And she was just wondering, what is next for me? How do I define achievement for myself? How do I know that I'm growing, I'm successful, and I'm enjoying my life? And all that energy started getting diverted, directed to her meetings, in her team meetings. And all that energy was just like, I need to feel that I'm growing. I need to feel that I'm doing better. I need to feel that I'm enjoying. I need to feel that I'm growing. And it just became very difficult for her co-workers to be in meetings with her because she was just constantly trying to prove herself, constantly trying to be the best. And that created so much pressure and anxiety on her. But then we worked on her. We worked with her and trying to understand that, what is really important for her in her life. And is this, can she temper the sense of achievement with in a holistic way, and understanding that there are other aspects of life also that need to be balanced, that are important, that contribute to her identity. And somehow the therapists, etc., that she went to, when she told that I want to achieve more at work and I want to do this and I want to do that, they just kept giving her more medication so that she could achieve more stuff. But the goal of life is not to achieve more stuff. The goal of life is to live in a balanced way, do things that you like to do, and grow, definitely grow to the heights that are possible for you, but doing it in a regulated way so that you can be therein for the long term. So working with these things and using tools, with her diet around Ayurveda, helping her understand her psychophysical nature through her astrology, doing family healing, balancing work, and figuring out and devoting her energies to a spiritual purpose. She did start reading the Bhagavad Gita, and that helped her reconnect with her own true, real self and helped her become more balanced and holistic. And all of this without any medication and any more therapist appointments. And once she reached that point, our goal is when we work with people is that, you don't have to come to us for the same thing again. And so far she hasn't, and she's happy, she's thriving, she's learned the tools to live her life, she's connected with her cultural and spiritual roots, and she is making advancement. So medications are given very freely nowadays in modern psychology and all of these different appointments, and they're not taught. Like we had this teenager who came here and came to us. She had cut herself, at the age of 16, cutting wrists, etc. And that's one way for them to deal with their pain and trauma and the confusion that they're feeling. And she was diagnosed with ADHD because she found it hard to focus. And she was given medication for ADHD. And when she was given medication for ADHD, she used to feel sleepy all the time. She wasn't able to focus on her work, and then she wasn't able to achieve the stuff. Bright student, but not able to achieve the stuff in school, would make her depressed. And then she would get really frustrated with herself and angry and feel rage. And the more rage she felt, the more tranquilizers she was given. And I asked her, what happens in your therapist appointments? And then they say that, they just talk about some things, but they don't talk about the things that you're talking about, and you're giving me holistic solutions. I said, I'm not the one giving you these holistic solutions. These are the holistic solutions that are there in our Eastern wisdom, in our Indian Vedic culture. And so through yoga, helping her balance her breath, because ADHD is could be a vata disorder that causes them to be so disturbed and disorganized and unable to focus. So helping her work on her breath, do some breathing pranayama exercises, helping her raise the prana of her body through walking bare feet, through taking sunlight, and to doing some of these things, and some more work on her chakras and releasing energy and balancing some of those things. And helping her have a routine. Just doing some of these things helped her reduce her medication gradually. And reduce her psychiatrist appointments, because every time they went to a psychiatrist, I'm not able to sleep better, I'm feeling rage, they would just keep increasing the medication, and that was not helpful. She was not being given tools to help herself. So we gave her tools to work on her mind, thought processes that were not serving her, helping her move from the tamasic and the rajasic pravrittis to sattvic pravrittis, to coming more to the stage of goodness, to being satisfied in doing her work and having a routine, rather than disturbing her mind with will I be able to achieve this? And if I don't achieve this, then something's wrong with me. Everyone's going to laugh at me, and this is going to happen, and that is going to happen. Helping her stay more connected to her work rather than the results of the work also helped her find a lot of peace. And again, having a right routine, eating the right diet according to whatever imbalances were there in her body type. And some herbs were given to her as well. Of course, we don't give herbs, but we connected her with an Ayurvedic doctor who gave her those herbs. And helping her have the right expectations by understanding her true personality through Ayurveda and astrology, so that she could have the right expectations for herself and truly work on herself in that direction. Because every psychophysical nature, their body types are different, their sleep requirements are different, their focus abilities and everything are different, and plus the types of work, activities that excite them are very different. So she was trying to become something that she was not. She was trying to take courses that were not aligned to her nature, that she didn't like. But she still went for those because those made her look good. And eventually she thought that those would, help her make a lot of money. And I said, well, you need a lot of money. And she said, I'll need a lot of money because then I can be powerful, I can be rich, and I can enjoy, and I can do this, and I can do that. And there were a lot of distractions also that, the teenagers had to face nowadays with all the TikTok and the Snapchats and the Instagram and the homeworks and everything online. And just so many more avenues for sense gratification. And gradually, as we brought her to Sattva, we helped her come closer to understanding how, engaging in too many of these objects of sense gratification actually distracts the mind. So We gave her a fasting diet also from some of these things. Let's just do one thing in one day, one exciting thing in one day. And gradually she learned that that was really helping her calm her mind down. And, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhogeshwarya prasakta nam taya pahrita chetasam vyavasayatmika buddhi samadhau na vidhiyate. He says this in the second chapter in the 42nd verse, I think, where he says that for one whose mind is too attached to material opulence and sense gratification, the resolute determination for devotional service does not take place. And the word he uses, vyavasayatmika buddhi, focused intelligence, is elusive, when we're too attached to sense gratification and material opulence. We get so distracted that our intelligence becomes many-branched and we're not able to focus. So working with her and helping her get excited about that. But that was possible by first helping her balance herself through breath work, through diet, through energy work, through changing her thinking and her thought process, etc. And then gradually, it takes a lot of work, but we love our work and we're able to do it because every time we see how the Vedic system, how our sciences truly contribute and truly help people grow. So what was missing out in each of these cases was a holistic approach in serving the client. They focused on what the client said and felt, and they gave immediate solutions for that. But they did not take a complete view of the different layers of the client's personality, the different layers of the client's lifestyle, the different layers of the client's environment. And they did nothing to affect any of that. Now, what is really needed is for us, and the more I do this work, the more I'm convinced, is to go back to Vedic solutions. And in our coaching practice, we focus on the importance of working on the mind, but also understanding one's basic psychophysical nature through Ayurveda and astrology. Because it helps you understand your strengths and weaknesses. It helps you come to terms with your strengths and weaknesses. And modern psychology so far has really no real understanding of any higher consciousness beyond the ego mind, much less mapping it out as we find in the yoga and Vedanta. I mean, reading the Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, there's so much depth there in understanding what causes dukkha, what causes shoka, what causes disturbance, what causes lack of focus, and so on. And therefore, modern psychology inhibits, their lack of understanding in not knowing what the real self is, the spiritual self, and its journey over different lifetimes and the samskaras it has carried. It inhibits their ability to promote emotional wellness and inner peace in people who come to them. And the idea is that inner peace and wellness is going to come by people looking within and not giving them band-aid solutions. So yes, modern psychology has done a lot of research. They have really understood the chemical balances and imbalances in the body. They've understood the mind. But what is needed is an integration with Vedic psychology and Vedic solutions. Vedic psychology and Vedic solutions stand strong even on its own. But since people are attuned more to modern psychology, what is needed is an integrative approach because it helps people elevate people from avidya. The avidya is not knowing who you truly are. And not knowing I'm spirit, soul, part and parcel of the Lord, and I'm not this body. And within that avidya now, we're further in the avidya that you forget who you truly, what your psychophysical nature, what your identity is. Nowadays even genders are in question. I want to be a man today and I want to be a woman the next day, and I'm just undecided on Wednesdays. So whatever that is, it's pretty confusing, crazy making. What's happening around us, and. So within avidya, we're in further avidya, further blanketed, further in greater darkness. And what's needed is Vedic solutions integrated with modern psychology, because it will help you understand who the real self is. The counseling, the coaching also includes understanding of karmic philosophies, taking responsibility for ourselves and our karma, reducing the hedonism through delayed gratification, and trying to focus and live more in Sattva through lifestyle changes than Rajas and Tamas. Because Sattva, when you're in the mode of goodness, it can actually really help you achieve a lot more than what you can do with Rajas and Tamas. Even Rajas, we feel like, I'm supposed to be passionate. But we get so overcome with emotion when we're not able to achieve something, when you're more in the Rajas. But when you're in Sattva, you're able to actually perform in a detached way. So you're able to actually achieve a lot more because you're not disturbed by your own emotions. Now, these understandings need to be integrated. Now, as you take care of your own mental health, and that of your loved ones. Focus on trying to understand how can you use Ayurveda, astrology, the Yoga Sutras, the Bhagavad Gita, and what do they have to offer? What does our great Indian civilization have to offer to you? What do these shastras, these scriptures have to offer to you? And how can you access these tools for yourself? And how can you integrate that? Not just when you have a mental health crisis. The goal is not that, oh, people have a mental health crisis, let's go and give them solutions. The goal is to live in such a way where we don't experience mental health crisis. So how can you integrate these things on a daily basis in your life so that you can be of sound mind and a peaceful mind that can focus, not just in achieving what you need to achieve in your material identity, but also in the greater goals of your spiritual life. And if you could find a lot of solutions there, and all you need to do is start learning. However, if you are looking for holistic coaching for yourself, we do have a systematic proven method that you can take advantage of using all of these things that I've talked about. And you can find more information on www.namitapurohit.com and also through the links in the description below. So we have programs to get, if you're wanting coaching for yourself, to help yourself heal, become healed and whole and grow and glow. And we also have a coach certification program for those people who want to learn these techniques to coach, people in their lives. So thank you very much, and wish you all the best in your mental health, and may you have such a lifestyle that you don't ever have a mental health crisis. But because of all of these tools that are there in our culture, you're able to have a wonderful, peaceful, active, happy state of consciousness every single day, because our system, all our scriptures are geared towards the evolution of human consciousness. Our entire culture is geared towards the evolution of human consciousness. It's a very deep, a very rich culture, and it has so much to help us in evolving our minds, in healing ourselves, and in growing and in achieving the ultimate